So I get asked a lot of questions about, hey, can I get a wet reckless? And a lot of people look at that as something that's a lesser charge than what a DUI is. So let's talk about what the differences are, if any. DUI charges are under Vehicle Code Section 23152, and there's a bunch of different subsections depending on whether it's alcohol, if it's impairment by drugs, combination, or whatever. And on a first offense, a DUI maximum punishment is up to 6 months in county jail and a $1,000 fine and or both. That's under the statute. Then we hear about wet recklesses. Well, what is a wet reckless? First of all, you can't be charged in a complaint with a wet reckless because there is no actual charge or crime called a wet reckless. A wet reckless is under Vehicle Code Section 23103 and 23103.5. And we know in the defense bar that, or actually in criminal lawyers know that it's actually a fiction under the statute. And basically what it is it's a statute that allows for a compromise on a DUI, where maybe there's some issues, whether it's evidence or maybe the level of alcohol is not that high, maybe that person has no criminal record. It's a way to compromise and negotiate a DUI. And the maximum penalty on a first-time wet reckless is up to 90 days in county jail, $1,000 fine, and or both. Let's talk about the similarities and what it really means. So a wet reckless is still an alcohol-related DUI. As far as DMV points, you're going to get 2, whether it's a DUI or a wet reckless. And you'll get probation on both. And in most circumstances, even with a wet reckless, you're going to have to do some sort of DUI class. If it's a first-time DUI, then you have to do at least a 3-month course. If you have a blood alcohol level that's really high, it could be 6 months or 9 months, depending on the county. Typically, on a wet reckless, it's a 12-hour class that's required by court. However, if you have your license administratively suspended by DMV, it could be 3 months. Now, the difference is that with a wet reckless, like I said before, the maximum punishment is less. It's only 90 days, not 6 months. Typically, the fines are less, meaning it's probably about half. So in Sacramento, on a first-time DUI, it's about $2,600. On a wet reckless, it's probably closer to $1,600. So the fines are less. And really, that's the main difference. And of course, if you're looking for a job and you have to disclose what it is that you got a conviction for, a wet reckless sounds better than a DUI, but really it's the same thing. So other than maybe no jail time on a wet reckless versus 2 days or maybe a little bit more, you still have probation. You still have to typically do a DUI class, although there's an exception. We can talk about that in a different segment. It's kind of the same. It just sounds better and a few less consequences.